Welcome to another episode of the Bali Business Review, where today we will drive around the south part of Bali and take a look at what ugly really means. Yes, this area known as Uluwatu is quickly becoming Ugly-Watu, with the rising number of trash dumps, of poor design, and of habitat mismanagement and waste mismanagement that proliferates in this entire area. You don't want to miss this episode if you're an investor, property buyer, or property seller, and hoping to get the correct value for your future investment by understanding something about the neighborhood in which you or your guests might soon be coming into, and finding out that, well, maybe social media doesn't tell you everything that you should know. Stick around and watch this episode as we explore the past, present, and future of Bali to find out, is Bali actually becoming more ugly? I'm standing atop the hillside above one of the largest monuments here in Bali, the GWK, Garuda Vishnu Kencana statue, as we call it here in Bali, Geweka. It's alarming to see the juxtaposition of one of the largest monuments detailing the splendor and heroism of Bali right next to this gigantic quarry where this enormous trash dump. This trash dump is full of plastic, sorted garbage, and disturbingly, a community of people who live in what is shockingly asbestos-covered roofs right next to the trash dump. Ironically, as you can see around this dump, there are construction sites building luxury apartments and hotels, and there's even more construction right here overlooking this site and quarry here. I mean, is this really the end goal, to build luxury and tourism right next to such squalor? Have monuments like this? I don't know what the right word, it's hard to find it, yeah? Misery, pure misery. The smell, of course, as you can imagine, is bad. There's shattered asbestos on the ground, and there's asbestos in the roof, which is a known carcinogen. So these are things that we hope investors do care about when they choose to buy property in Bali, and think about, is the process in which you are actually investing in Bali making Bali closer to a utopia or closer to a dystopia? Now, as we drive along these desolate areas of the Bukit Peninsula, the savanna that once dominated this beautiful landscape has now been replaced with construction sites and litter on both sides of the road, as the waste management crisis in Bali seeks to find a resolution at this point. This area, which used to be home to inhabitants like these monkeys over here, hi monkeys, right over there. You can see a family herd of monkeys over there. This one seems to be a little bit shy and looking at us, and this is at the old Bali Cliff Hotel. So this area, which used to be a pristine and desolate savanna, hemmed in by beautiful coastlines of dramatic beauty, well, that part is still there, and that's probably one of the draws that leads investors to come out to this region and buy cliffside and ocean view properties, which are kind of springing up in abundance at this point. This area is being assaulted by construction sites, dump sites, and some of these trash sites are so close to where people have actually paid what I assume is good money for luxury real estate. It's shocking to see just how inconsiderate or just out of touch that developers seem to be at this moment by placing their properties right next to what are toxic dumps. I think I might have accidentally triggered what was unintentionally a downstream effect that we see today of these battery cage villas all stacked up like chicken coops right next to each other, and also the proliferation of that white Mediterranean look that you see everywhere. I'll go back to the original source of that to explain more in detail. Is Bali getting ugly? If you've been wondering where the original design for that white Mediterranean villa came from, it actually is from right here. This is the place. This is Villa Casablanca. Villa Casablanca is owned by a gentleman for the name of Paul LaFontaine. Paul LaFontaine came into our office years ago before COVID to ask for Bukit Vista management services for this property behind me. Incidentally, Paul shared some of his design drawings, which kind of got left behind on our coffee table. People took a look at his drawing and they would also ask, what should they build? Somehow, one way or the other, they took a look at the drawings and they wanted to build this. This was the actual original first property that initiated the white Mediterranean design that you see everywhere now in Bali. And these days, this particular property has some sort of, I can't read all of this, but it seems to have some sort of court case that is active against it. And there's actually something about reporting to police, ini tunduk. Okay, I'll have this translated so you guys can read it. Anyways, the white Mediterranean villa initiated from this design, copied probably tens of thousands of times now all throughout Bali, but it emerged right here. The reason why this caught on so much was another property developer by the name of the Young Villas was the only development company having anything to sell at the end of COVID. You have to remember, during COVID, the optimism for investing in Bali real estate was at historical lows. During that time, the one developer that had a game in town was De Young. De Young started in Bingen, and I'm not sure if they came to our office and got a hold of those coffee table drawings that Paul left on our table over here for this villa, but maybe. And based on that, Instagram then took over, because when people were searching for Bali villa, De Young was active on Instagram, active on social media marketing. So then this association with a white Mediterranean villa and Bali villa got tied together by the Instagram algorithm. I then advised investors who would come to our offices, here, this is what you should do. When you decide on a design for your property, go and look for whatever's trending on social media, find the top few designs for Bali villa, and copy that. Little did I know that that would result in the proliferation of this design that you see here everywhere now. So I regret, maybe I caused some of the ugliness that you see when you see too many white Mediterranean villas in Bali now. Some owners are still waiting to see profits on their properties. The rest use Bukit Vista. Bukit Vista provides free revenue calculation based on decades of experience in artificial intelligence and data science principles, meant to give an accurate beginning to all serious and sustainable property investors. We update regularly on the Bali Business Review on market ground truth to enable you as an investor to know how the valuation of your property changes from day to day, month to month, and year to year. Sign up for your calculation today and begin your journey with understanding how much is your property worth right now. As with a lot of developments here in Bali, there's the good side, which is the luxury and the class and all the the things that make you really fall in love with Bali. But then there's also another uglier side to how things work. Well, this is kind of cool. We had an interruption with some Balinese cattle here along the way. The uglier side of how things are actually done in Bali, which is adjacent to luxury developments, is the ugliness and the utter lack of luxury. The utter lack of luxury for the people who actually build these luxury developments. This is kind of like the conditions in which many of the workers who actually build luxury villas live in. You can see there's not the best sanitation here, and people are all mixed together with their equipment living in these shanty areas right here. The smell, I can tell you, is not that great. Trash being burned and litter and trash all over the entire ground area. Yep. So this is a problem in Bali, and I think it's something that those of you who are thinking about buying property for, let's say, yourselves, should really be aware of what the process actually costs. It costs this, right? People living in shacks and scraps that are not really that great. The conditions are pretty horrible here, as you can see. But I do have a friend, Will DeRecco, who is working on a Build Humanely program to make sure that construction workers do get, the right type of working conditions when you buy a property. Something you should think about if you're buying property in Bali. Okay. Years ago, I remember coming down to Pandawa Beach behind me, and there was no toll gate. There was no expectation that you should pay for access to the beach. And I remember it was kept specifically open because people expected to be available for religious ceremonies. These days, the real religion of Bali is more often capitalism than Hinduism. But yeah, if you've been here long enough, I don't know. I read somewhere in the Indonesian constitution that nobody is supposed to be able to charge or have a license to charge for access to the beach. But it's kind of being done right now, which leads me to the question of whether or not this whole thing that you see behind us will kind of end up like Bingen one day, where this becomes actually something that is, needs to be demolished. Who knows? Kenapa ada biaya ke pantai?
Jalur ini jalur masuk tetap bayar, Pak.
Kenapa kalau pantai biasanya di Indonesia itu umum? Kenapa sekarang ada orang charge?
In Bali, in tourism area,
Right.
you need to pay the entry when you go inside, sir.
Tapi menurut konstitusi Indonesia, pantai semua harus kasih gratis.
Kalau di pantai iya, tapi jalur masuknya tidak. Kalau pantai memang gratis, tapi jalur masuknya tetap pembayaran ada, Pak. Ya.
Okay. That's a good explanation. Okay. Ada jalur lain?
Tidak ada.
So, I asked if there was another actual road, and he said no, this is the only road. So, by default, the beach is not free. It's interesting seeing that all these new construction sites with new apartments and clusters of combinations of apartments, villas, and such are being built right next to this massive, destroyed, abandoned lot that I think was supposed to be either a Raffles or a Mandarin Oriental hotel. I'll have the facts ready on the subtitles below. However, the actual interesting new development that we can observe from the drone is this new cleared land. These are massive amounts of cleared limestone that you can see adjacent to the old abandoned site. I think this is ugly, don't you? I mean, isn't it better to keep some of the trees and the natural flora and fauna in this area? When people just cut all this entire area and level it, it just destroys all the habitat, all the natural, rich, apparently beautiful landscaping that was here before. And so what's Bali supposed to look like in the future? Is it supposed to be another copy of Jakarta? Nobody wants that. Not even the people from Jakarta even want that. Years ago, I would come to this bridge right here during lunch breaks and just kind of visit that tree. That tree over there was home to a family of monkeys that would take snacks. Really entertaining, you know. Brought my kids even a few times to see the monkeys here. These days, this is all that remains. It's a gigantic outer devastation. It's been clear cut and filled with trash now. So this giant scar on the land of cut limestone is, I guess, the explanation for what capitalists think what people actually want to buy, lease, or stay in. But this kind of devastation, this type of destruction to the natural landscape with so many trees and so much natural habitat being immediately lost, I'm pretty sure is not what anybody really wants for Bali. And so why do people do it? Why does this keep on happening? And for the most part, what I hypothesize is that the decision makers somewhere in Jakarta heard from somebody that people want luxury ocean view condos, which clearly is not a priority at this point. Clearly hotels are struggling with occupancy. Clearly what people want are more natural, holistically well-balanced, eco-friendly accommodations. And this devastation that we see from these aerial videos is not just unnecessary, it's completely disharmonious. Once again, what can we do to stop this, everyone? Here, if you're watching this channel, watching this, can you please help me stop this devastation? I am perfectly aware that the landowner has every right to do whatever he wants with his own land. But should this be really done? Is this really adding to a more harmonious relationship with nature? Is this something that the local Balinese people see as something that they can be proud of? Decide in the comments below what you think. As harsh as I am on Bali, there are some things that are remarkably beautiful. Take this. I'm over at the Sawangan area of Nusa Dua, and it's just amazing looking at the paragliders and parafoils that are floating in these updrafts over these beautiful coral reefs and sand. It's just this is truly something that is inspirational about Bali. So yeah, the relationship that we have with Bali is complicated. It's about time my drone came back. Awesome, there's a Balinese ceremony here for the opening of a new gas station as well. Let's go take a look. I'm happy to report that this is what I would call a harmony between capitalism and traditional Balinese traditions and customs, right? We got a Padanda over there, he's in that tent, and he's making blessings, and we have some ladies over here, and they're also putting some offerings here. For those of you who are unaccustomed to seeing a Balinese ceremony, it's a beautiful, enriching, and soulful event. There's a lot of energy and power and divine spirits involved. The understanding, let's say, that I can best frame for somebody of a Western mindset is that Balinese people are animists. So what they believe is that underneath the ground and in this area, there are spirits that inhabit the land, air, and the surfaces. And so if you don't think of a way to make harmony with these spirits, then your business will not succeed. And so this is what we call a Malaspa ceremony. And a Malaspa ceremony is a really, really nice way to also involve traditional Balinese priests and also Balinese ceremonial services to make sure you get a lucky start in Bali and don't have any conflict with the area. But aside from that, a gas station over here on this section of road is also a pretty positive sign that things are probably primed and ready to go in this area too. I'm so inspired to go find a more organic approach. We're gonna head over to Sanur, where going back to one of the original hotels that inspired a better design movement in Bali, we're going to go and see if we can get re-inspired by the original, more harmonious with nature and harmonious with people designs that were more prevalent in the yesteryears of Bali's tourism history.